Part 65. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 641. Xiang Li, Ye Mingkai raised his voice, you have indulged He Yan to the point of being a little lawless. It's not that she likes my son must respond, and she can't take advantage of my son just because he doesn't respond. My son was stabbed with a knife. She was 27 years old, not 17, let alone 7. Adults who break the law should be held criminally responsible. Xiang Li's face turned pale, and tears fell down her face. She was confused for a moment. You also know that she likes Nan Li so much. How could she have the heart to hurt him? Ye Mingkai patted the back of her hand. The only thing I can do to help you is to let my son sue He Yan for minor injuries. He Yan should really reflect on herself. Mingkai. Xiang Li, my son is injured. I'm going to make some soup for him and take him to the hospital. You should go back first. Seeing Ye Mingkai's determined expression, Xiang Li returned home with her husband He Shui in grief. When Xiang Li saw her son He Wan, she held his hand and cried until she couldn't help herself. Have you gone to find Nan Li? Nan Li has always been a loser to you. Go and talk to him. He Wan said with a cold face, this is not the first time He Yan has done something wrong. I can no longer sell my face. It was that girl who was stubborn. If he didn't let her have some memory, he really didn't know how crazy things she would do in the end. How could it be? When Nanli's father passed away, you accompanied him to study in Europe. Their family came to mention you. You were only 9 years old at the time. How could I be willing to let you go thousands of miles away? But when they mentioned, didn't our family happily agree? Now, are we going to cause discord between the two families because of such a little thing? He Wan pulled away his hand. Have you forgotten that Nan Li blocked a shot for me? If we really count it as a favor, the Fu family doesn't owe our family anything. Don't always worry about accompanying him to study abroad. Talking about it makes it seem like the He family is always proud of themselves and cannot see the contributions of others. It is precisely because her mother always feels that the Fu family owes the He family, so she feels that Fu Nanli should repay his kindness and be with He Yan, so she always condones He Yan's various behaviors. A loving mother often loses her sons. This is true. He Yan really needs to learn a lesson. Xiang Li had tears still hanging in her eyes. He Wan, why are you helping outsiders? She is your sister. If Nan Li doesn't let go, she will go to jail. Since she hurt others with a knife, she should be punished by the law. Mom, not only He Yan should reflect on it, but you should also reflect on it. He Wan left the villa with a gloomy face. He Yan was taken into custody, and this matter was spread online somehow. There are a lot of discussions online. I heard that the eldest lady of the He family was arrested for deliberately hurting others. Oh, the He family is very powerful, isn't it? Just deliberately hurting people, as long as the person is not dead, the eldest lady will be acquitted. Just wait and see. I heard that the person she injured was the eldest young master of the Fu family. Do you still think she will be acquitted? Miss, he is finished. Don't the Fu family and the He family have a very good relationship? What can't you think about, young lady? In the VIP ward of the hospital, Wen Qiao grabbed the towel in his hand and looked at Fu Nanli with embarrassment. Fu Nanli had an imperceptible smile in his eyes. Li Fang said, my wound should not be touched by water, please wipe it for me. Wen Qiao touched his neck. It's the end of October and the weather is cool. Even if you don't take a shower for 3 to 5 days, there won't be any smell. Just, don't wipe it. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 642. Fu Nanli straightened his body. Don't you know your boyfriend has mysophobia? Help me change into a hospital gown after wiping. Wen Qiao held the towel, and the man stretched out his long hand. Why are you lingering? Wen Qiao took a breath, stretched out his hand to unbutton the man's hospital gown, and said silently in his heart, he is a patient, he is a patient, don't look at anything inappropriate, don't look at anything inappropriate. After finishing this work, Wen Qiao's face was stained with a thin layer of red, and there was a thin layer of sweat on her forehead, which made people unable to put it down. Fu Nanli held her hand and said, thank you for your hard work. Li Fang came over personally to change the dressing on Fu Nanli's wound. Seeing Wen Qiao's flushed face, he casually asked, feeling hot? Wen Qiao looked embarrassed, I just helped him change his clothes. Li Fang was aware that the eldest young master had probably not only changed clothes, but also asked others to do other things. He turned around and looked at Fu Nanli, your chest is injured, but your arms are not injured. You can change your clothes by yourself, or you can wipe it yourself. The eldest young master's eyes were stern, and Dean Li quickly shut up. If he continued to speak, the young master would become angry. After the medicine was changed, he hurried away. Wen Qiao put his hands on his hips and looked at the beautiful sick man on the bed. Li Fang said, you can wipe your body yourself. He is a quack, don't listen to him. Wen Qiao narrowed his eyes, he seems to have published many professional papers in the Lancet magazine. He seems to have a good reputation in the medical field. He is an expert in cardiology, he doesn't understand this. Li Fang. You are the young master and you have the final say. As long as you are happy. There was a knock on the door, and Fu Nanli said in a deep voice, come in. 3 men in police uniforms walked in. The leading policeman stated his purpose, hello, Mr. Fu, we want to learn more about what happened at the time of the crime. Have you seen the surveillance video? Yes, the certificate has been collected by your bodyguard. We still need to make a transcript on your side. Wen Qiao left the ward and asked the police to take notes for Fu Nanli. About 40 minutes later, the 3 police officers exited the ward. Wen Qiao went in and asked Fu Nanli, will He Yan be sentenced? Fu Nanli, yes. Wen Qiao nodded, that's good. She could bear it if He Yan hurt her, but she would never let it go if she hurt Fu Nanli. 3 days later, Fu Nanli was discharged from the hospital. There was a lot of attention on this case on the internet. After all, the He family dispatched a team of lawyers with the highest standards, and the Fu family did not make any concessions. It was just an ordinary crime of intentional injury. An uninformed person would think that it is an economic dispute case between the 2 countries, because the most powerful team of lawyers in the lawyer circle is dispatched. As a victim, Fu Nanli needs to be summoned during the court session. Wen Qiao will accompany him every time he appears in court, and he can see He Yan's unwillingness and despair. In the last court hearing, He Yan was sentenced to 3 years in prison. This is already the greatest kindness that the Fu family can release. It was because He Wan didn't make Fu Nanli feel cold, so he didn't put pressure. When the handcuffed He Yan passed by Fu Nanli, she burst into tears and said with trembling lips, Fu Nanli, you are so cruel to me. Mr. Fu just lowered his eyes and straightened his cuffs. He was wearing the cufflinks that Wen Qiao had given him at the last charity dinner. He Yan saw what the liar Wen Qiao photographed for him, and he treated it like a treasure. Why did Fu Nanli's love go to such a liar alone? He Wan, who followed him, naturally heard what his sister said. He shook his head slightly. There was no one who had a place in Fu Nanli's heart. He had always been ruthless. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 643. And his sister was the kind of person who had no place in Fu Nanli's heart, yet she challenged his bottom line again and again, finally completely irritating him. He Yan, I hope you will reflect on your 3 years in prison. This is the best advice I can give her as a brother. Some people have different views on this matter, such as Fu Huayong, the old man of the Fu family. He heard that He Yan stabbed his grandson with a knife, and felt that Wen Qiao was at fault. He felt that the little girl Wen Qiao must have encouraged his Nanli to do something, which provoked He Yan, who had always been gentle and kind, to react violently. So, while Fu Nanli was flying to Helsinki, he approached Wen Qiao. This was the first time Wen Qiao went to the Fu family mansion. He sat in a luxury car and walked along the sycamore path along the coast. He passed deep through the courtyard and saw the back lake, golf course, baseball field, and swimming pool, and then passed a small yard. Only then did we finally stop in front of the main house. In the side hall, Wen Qiao saw the serious old man again and said hello respectfully. The old man got straight to the point. You think you can hide it from everyone just by being clever, don't you? Wen Qiao smiled and said, I don't understand what you are talking about. This indifference and magnanimity made Fu Huayong slightly startled. The little girl from an ordinary background, who was no more than 20 years old and a 20-year-old girl from an ordinary family, was trembling with fear when she saw him, and she couldn't even speak fluently. She is quite courageous. Also, don't you have to be bold to dare to touch his grandson? Did you say something to irritate He Yan and make her hurt our Nan Li? They are all sensible people, so there is no need to make any detours when speaking. Wen Qiao's smile turned cold. Whether you believe it or not, my love for Fu Nanli is not mixed with any other factors. I will not make fun of his safety and health just because I attack dissidents. I also hope that you will not think of me it's so unbearable. These words were said in a tone that was neither humble nor arrogant, and was so convincing that Fu Huayong was stunned for a moment. Then he laughed and said, the little girl has a very strong temper. We, Nan Li, are surrounded by women who flatter him. I have never seen you like this, so I have a different perception of you for a while. Do you think it is love? Wen Qiao smiled and looked at the old man sitting in front of her. Do you know what love is? Fu Huayong suddenly narrowed his eyes, displeasure flashed in his eyes. You are very rude. Wen Qiao looked respectful. That's because you are biased against me. If I speak like this, you think I'm rude. If I kneel in front of you and beg for your love, you will think I have no spine. Whatever I do is wrong. Fu Huayong was so choked by the little girl's sharp words that he was speechless. You are presumptuous. Wen Qiao was helpless and did not speak. After a while, the old man said again, tell me, what do you want to do before you are willing to leave Nan Li's side? Although you will be late for the drama of wealthy families spending huge sums of money, you will never be absent. I will give you 5 million, and you will leave Nanli immediately. Wen Qiao. I spent 1 million to buy stars for brother Nanli. Later, I donated a total of 8 Hope primary schools. One primary school cost 500,000, so. Mr. Fu's face turned pale. You are quite good at putting on a show. Wen Qiao's eyebrows trembled. It's true feelings, not a show. Fu Huayong had nothing to say. This little girl was so bold. He said one thing and she said another, not afraid of him at all. He had never met such a bold person. Get out. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me. The boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 644. Wen Qiao gave a half bow, then, goodbye. After leaving the Fu family mansion, Wen Qiao felt uneasy. Although she thought she was polite enough and was just explaining the facts to the old man, but in the end the old man seemed to become angry. She sent a message to Fu Nanli, briefly talking about today. Regarding the matter, the message was quickly replied, ignore my grandfather. Wen Qiao was relieved. Another news came over there, 5 million is indeed too little. What if we give 500 million? Wen Qiao pursed his lips and replied, then I can think about it. Wen Qiao, wait. Wen Qiapai felt a little happy. After leaving the Fu family's mansion, he went to his own small company. Nowadays, Fang Duo and Dong Yao are popular celebrities. Apart from attending school, Fang Duo spends all her time outside, either filming commercials, participating in activities, or appearing in variety shows. After all, she does not let go of harsh words and wants to be an actress well. She also thanks Wen Qiao, I want to make money for Wen Qiao. Young Master Xiao Dong is not so easy to control. He has promoted many activities. He never posts photos of himself on Weibo, and almost all accepts advertising promotions for endorsements. Fans call him a ruthless advertising forwarding machine and urge him to post selfies on Weibo every day. But it is his laziness that attracts fans more and more. The agent showed Dong Yao's upcoming itinerary to Wen Qiao. While Wen Qiao was reading the information, Lu Yuyu knocked on the door and came in. A beautiful girl is here for an interview. It's very beautiful. She has the same type as you, glamorous and voluptuous. I think our company lacks this type. Tong Wei has a cool temperament and Fang Duo is cute, but she really lacks a glamorous one. Are you from the circle? What's your name? My name is Zhou Tao. I just graduated from the Kyoto Film Academy and haven't made any TV shows yet. You're here to check me. Immediately afterwards, Zhou Tao entered Wen Qiao's office. Wen Qiao's eyes lit up. Her appearance was very good. She had a small face as big as a palm, fair skin, almond-shaped eyes, and a turned-up nose. She was 170 centimeters tall, with long hands and legs. She had an extremely good appearance. Wen Qiao pointed to the chair in front of the desk, sit down. Zhou Tao briefly introduced herself. She is 22 this year. She just graduated from college and majored in acting. She just came to Heiken from Kyoto. She has no acting experience. She has only performed in stage plays at school. She also brought the video with her. Wen Qiao watched the video and felt that Zhou Tao's acting skills were good. He also followed the procedures of the acting school and asked her to do a singing list, which was indeed very good. It's just that Wen Qiao is a little confused. Zhou Tao is beautiful, has good acting skills, and is in Kyoto. Logically speaking, there is no shortage of performance opportunities. How could it be that Shivering had never entered the entertainment industry until graduation, and had never even had the experience of playing a small role? Are you sure you want to sign with our company? Wen Qiao asked uncertainly. Zhou Tao smiled, what do you mean, Mr. Wen? Your company doesn't want to sign me. On the side, Lu Yuyu has fallen into a nymphomaniac, and the two beauties talking are so pleasing to the eye. Wen Qiao, of course not. Your conditions are very good in all aspects. Of course I want to sign you. I will ask Yuyu to show you our company's contract later. If you have no objection, then sign the contract. What do you mean? What attracts Wen Qiao most is not Zhou Tao's appearance, but her eyes, which have a story to tell. She doesn't speak, so when she looks at you, you can feel her difference. Zhou Tao lowered her eyes, there's something I need to confess to you. I'm married. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 645. Lu Yuyu, who was drinking water, couldn't hold it back and the water spurted out. Wen Qiao calmly took out 2 tissues and handed them over, wipe it. Lu Yuyu looked at Zhou Tao in disbelief while wiping, aren't you only 22 years old? Zhou Tao remained calm, what's wrong with 22? You've reached the legal age for marriage, haven't you? Lu Yuyu chuckled, that's true, but I still think it's a bit too early. Stars in the entertainment industry don't seem to be in such a hurry to get married. Zhou Tao said calmly, family marriage is something that cannot be helped. Mr. Wen, if you are married, can you sign it? Wen Qiao smiled and said, our company is looking for actors. As long as their acting skills are good enough, it doesn't matter whether they get married or not. Yu, please take Zhou Tao to see the contract. Although Lu Yu marveled at the beauty's early marriage at such a young age, she had to admit that Zhou Tao had excellent conditions in all aspects and would definitely have a place in the entertainment industry in the future. When the two of them left the office, they happened to bump into Lu Su. Lu Su saw Zhou Tao at a glance. Why are you here? Lu Yu and Wen Qiao both focused their attention on Zhou Tao. Zhou Tao just nodded to Lu Su and left the office. Lu Su touched the back of his head and entered Wen Qiao's office. Wen Qiao glanced at him and said, do you know Zhou Tao? Lu Su said vaguely, we know each other. Forget it, let's not talk about her. That Zhang Ke was a little injured. Most of my scenes were shot with him, so the director said to shoot other people's scenes first. I have been filming for the past 2 days. Take a break. Zhang Ke is injured? What's going on? The scene manager's fault was that the lighting board bracket was not fixed properly. I fell down during the filming. She blocked it for me. The injury was not serious. I will rest for 2 days. Wen Qiao nodded, oh, bring some gifts to the hospital to visit them. I know, I'll be there in a minute. When Lu Su left her office, she paused at the door and looked back at Wen Qiao, well, be mentally prepared. My second brother may have to find you again in the next 2 days. Wen Qiao, he regretted letting you film this drama again. Lu Su smiled cryptically, it's not about me. Just wait, I'll probably look for you. Wen Qiao didn't take his pretentiousness seriously. Taking advantage of this gap, Wen Qiao started to learn to drive. Song Yu in the club taught her personally. Wen Qiao learned to drive for the first time on the track. Song Yu sat next to her and told her which was the accelerator and which was the clutch. How to put the gear in gear, and where the wipers and turn signals are respectively. After that, Wen Qiao started driving smoothly. From the first day to learning the exam, he passed subjects 1 to 4 with full marks. It took a total of 10 days. She bought herself a car, a Volvo SUV. It was low profile, had good safety features, and could seat many people. The first thing Wen Qiao did after buying the car was to pick up Wen Mo from school. 9th middle school is still the same 9th middle school. The vocational high school opposite is still the same vocational high school. Where there are academic bullies, there will be school bullies, and school bullies will continue to bully honest students. Because when Chi is now picked up and dropped off by the club car, he and Wen Mo can hardly go together, and the two of them are not in the same class. Wen Mo was ostracized by some gangsters in the class because of his excellent grades. Boys aged 16 or 17 always have the temperament of being the best in the world when they are crazy, and they are not afraid of anything. In the final analysis, they still lack social experience. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 646. When Mo walked out of the main entrance with his skull bag on his back, passed through the alley, and was dragged in. When Mo, you got perfect marks in math again today. When Mo nodded and said yes. Really, he slapped him on the forehead, you are very capable. Do you know that just because you got full marks in the exam, Lao Liotu made us stand for the whole class, and my legs were sore from standing, you say what should I do? When Mo thought for a while and said, then you should study hard and don't take single-digit exams next time. Slap him in the face, are you teaching us a lesson? Only then did Wen Mo realize that they were not really asking for his opinion, they were just looking for trouble with him. Another boy said, Why does he get perfect scores every time? I look at him like he is stupid. I also feel like there is something wrong with my brain. I can't understand people's words. Since you are so stupid, let me explain it clearly to you. Because you got perfect marks in the exam, old Lutio, you made things difficult for us. Therefore, this account must be taken into account. On your head, understand. When Mo didn't understand. He didn't feel that he should bear any responsibility for this matter. So he shook his head, and the next second, he was kicked to the ground. Talk back. I hate good students like you who please the teacher the most. Let's see what you can do, and you will pass the test every time. Such high scores make us look stupid, you know. Bang kicked the boy who was leading the bully on when Mo on the back. The boy immediately became angry. Who the hell? Turning around, he saw a very beautiful girl standing in front of him. This boy had just entered the 9th middle school. He didn't know much about Sister Chiao's reputation, so he became angry and said, "Who the hell are you?" Wen Chiao pulled Wen Mo up, patted the dirt on his body, and looked at the three boys with stern eyes. "Wen Mo's sister, Wen Chiao." The boy sneered, "Then do you know who I am, this sister?" Wen Chiao walked up to him, smiled slightly, then raised his leg and gave him another heavy kick on the chest. "Sister, I don't need to know who you are, I'm going to blow your head off today." The other two boys panicked and stepped forward to pull Wen Chiao away. Wen Chiao stretched out his hand to support the wall and performed a roundhouse kick. The two high school boys were vulnerable and fell heavily to the ground. The three of them panicked. Wen Chiao walked up to the leading boy who was slumped on the ground, grabbed him by the collar of his clothes, and slapped him. "I failed the exam, do you blame my brother? Who taught you this?" The boy was still stern. "Just wait for me, He-Yun, go to the vocational high school and call brother Huang Mao." The boy named He-Yun ran along the alley. The boy shouted at Wen Chiao, "You are finished, you will be finished when brother Huang Mao comes." Wen Chiao slapped him again. "Really?" After a while, noisy footsteps sounded behind him, as well as a wild voice saying, "Who dares to bully my little brother?" The boy's mouth was already swollen from being slapped by Wen Chiao. She put down her foot on his chest, turned around, clapped her hands. "It's me." When Huang Mao saw Wen Chiao, he almost knelt down. The hand that almost slapped her was in the air. "Hello, sister." A year ago, it was this yellow-haired brother who blackmailed Wen Mo in an attempt to anger Wen Chi, and was finally taught a lesson by Wen Chiao. Sister Chiao is the psychological shadow of this yellow-haired brother. When he sees the sister again now, he is almost fainting from fright. The boy on the ground jumped up and covered his swollen face. "Brother, she was the one who hit me." Huang Mapa slapped him on the head. "Why the hell are you talking to Sister Chiao? Apologize to Sister Chiao. Please give me a monthly ticket." Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me. The boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 647. The boy was stunned. "Brother, are you still afraid of her?" Huang Mao kicked him on the leg again. "I asked you to apologize, did you hear it?" "Who is she?" "A little girl." Huang Mapa slapped him on the head. "You are getting more and more angry as you talk. Apologize to Sister Chiao immediately." The next second, the three boys who bullied Wen Mo stood obediently in front of Wen Chiao and Wen Mo, bowing in unison. "I'm sorry." Wen Chiao patted the dust on his hands and looked at the leading boy. "If you dare to bully Wen Mo again." "I don't dare anymore, sister, I don't dare anymore." Wen Chiao glanced at Huang Mao again. "Your people will dare to bully Wen Mo again." "No, sister, I will let the word out. If anyone dares to antagonize Wen Mo, then they are antagonizing me." Wen Chiao said with a cold face, "It's best this way." After saying that, he pulled Wen Mo out of the alley. Although these gangsters promised not to bully Wen Mo again, she was still worried. Back home, in the small yard, Wen Qiao looked at Wen Mo up and down. Wen Mo was sitting at the table with an innocent expression. "Sister, what are you looking at?" Wen Qiao pulled his arm. "No, I have to let you learn some martial arts, taekwondo, or jujitsu." Who knows how much secret loss her family Xiao Mo suffered while she was away. She told Fu Nanli about this matter, and Fu Nanli sent one of his bodyguards over the next day, a black belt in taekwondo, who would specialize in teaching Wen Mo kung fu. Wen Qiao was relieved. The days are moving forward calmly, and Xiaokong produced by Fu Nanli's entertainment company will be released on Singles Day, November 11th. Before this film was released, not many people were optimistic about it. It was neither a commercial popcorn film nor a romance film. It was about the relationship between father and daughter. The only actor who played the father was the famous actor Mr. Xiao Zishan. Almost all the other actors were raw face. Lu Yuyu said, "I have participated in many activities with Dong Yao recently, and I can really hear a sound wherever I go." Wen Qiao raised his eyebrows. "What's the sound?" It is said that no one in the country can match Mr. Fu's ability to invest in real estate, but when he entered the entertainment industry, Mr. Fu seems to be just playing for fun. Maybe the young master thinks that the family has too much money and does some trivial charity for the entertainment industry. Driving employment in the entertainment industry. There was a dartboard opposite Wen Qiao's desk. She picked up the darts on the desk and hit the red heart with a flick of her wrist. She chuckled. "A lot of people say that. No, it's the same sound wherever I go." Wen Qiao looked at the messages on his phone. "Will the short list for the Golden Lion Award be released today or tomorrow?" "Leaving out at 8 o'clock tonight." Wen Qiao thought thoughtfully. "Let's have a dinner party with our company's artists tonight. Ask Sister Man if Lu Su has any night shows tonight." "No, I've seen the notice. He won't be filming tonight." At Yupanju, Wen Qiao went to have a dinner with several artists from the company. The group of people were all handsome young men and beauties, especially those who were popular like Dong Yao Fangduo. Wherever they passed, there were always people secretly taking photos. Dong Yao pressed down the brim of his peaked cap, turned his head, and saw Lu Yuyu wishing to stay 18 feet away from him. His expression turned gloomy. The group of people entered the hotel and entered the private room. Lu Yuyu sat down next to Wen Qiao. Dong Yao sat down next to Lu Yuyu and grabbed her hand. Lu Yuyu lowered his voice and said, "There is a waiter." "Dong Yao, I don't care. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me." Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 648. Lu Yuyu covered her face with the menu and whispered, "Why don't you care? You can't have any scandals now." Master Xiaodong leaned back in his chair and looked at her with raised eyebrows. "Why?" Lu Yuyu almost vomited blood in her heart. "Brother, have you never eaten pork and seen a pig running?" Master Xiaodong looked confused. "First of all, you are a popular traffic niche, and your fans are all your girlfriend's fans. Now that you have a scandal, your image will be affected, and your business endorsements will be affected. Secondly, I will also be passionately abused by your girlfriend's fans, so, don't make trouble, eh?" Young Master Dong still doesn't know how deep and complicated the entertainment industry is, and he looks sad and unhappy. Tong Wei bowed her head and said to Wen Qiao, "I'm going to the bathroom." "Go ahead." Zhou Tao and Lu Su, who were new to the company, were sitting next to each other. Zhou Tao was drinking barley tea from a cup elegantly, while Lu Su's eyes seemed to be falling on her. This scene was accurately captured by Lu Yuyu, so she gave up trying to persuade her stubborn boyfriend and moved closer to Wen Qiao. "I always feel that the atmosphere between Lu Su and Zhou Tao is a bit subtle." Wen Qiao looked at the stock market on his mobile phone, planning to give up on this fragmented time office, and looked up at her. "Is it subtle?" Lu Yuyu became more energetic and lowered her voice. "It must be subtle. Didn't Zhou Tao say she was married?" Could it be that her husband is Lu Su? Wen Qiao almost choked. You don't have the right aura. Lu Yu's eyes suddenly widened. Then, this Lu Su doesn't want to pry into the corner and become a mistress, right? Look at the look in his eyes that keeps looking at Zhou Tao. Wen Qiao rubbed his chin. Really? You have to talk to him carefully in a while. Wen Qiao, okay. Lu Yu, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you that Sulu has accepted another film. Who do you think it is with? Who? She doesn't seem to be a qualified entertainment industry investor, and her entertainment industry information is a bit lagging behind. Shafi. Who is CFA? Wen Qiao was a little confused. Lu Yu laughed out loud. What's the matter with you two? One is better than the other. You don't remember the names. CFA was Xia Kong's original heroine. Later, she attended the dinner with you, and then she was wronged by you on the set for pushing her. Go down to the river, and then go on to cause trouble on the internet by saying that you were cheated by Mr. Fu, the drama actress. Oh, it's her, I have an impression. She and Sulu play a double heroine, a remake of an old martial arts drama. Domestic audiences have already had a certain rejection of the remake of the drama. This resource is not a good one. After all, Sulu's first TV series was hit. She has become a squib, and CFA has offended a big boss in the industry. If she can receive such resources, she will be in high demand. If these two come together, the crew will not be able to live in peace. Let's just sit back and wait for the good show. Absolutely one hot search every day, all kinds of porn. Wen Qiao shook her head. She was not interested in that kind of pornographic press release. She was more focused on the content. In the bathroom, Tong Wei had just finished washing her hands when she saw two people coming in. One was CFA and the other was Sulu. Sulu rolled her eyes silently in her heart. If Tong Wei is here, does it mean that Wen Qiao is also here? Really, enemies don't get together. What kind of fate is there between her and Wen Qiao? She just couldn't compete with Wen Qiao because of a TV series. Now she can finally get a TV series, but she doesn't dare to show off and show off. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 649. But Miss Yefei is different. She is a little traffic star. Her movie was cancelled before, and the sales were miserable. Fans feel sorry for her, and her fighting power has actually become stronger, so she still doesn't know how to reflect on herself and talk nonsense. How to block or speak without blocking. Isn't this Tong Wei? CFA said in a disdainful tone as he took out the powder puff in his bag to touch up his makeup. Tong Wei respectfully shouted, "Thank you, teacher." No matter what, CFA debuted earlier than her. In the industry, people are ranked based on seniority. Even if they don't like her, they still have to call her teacher Xie. CFA snorted lightly, "I don't dare to take it seriously. You are already a movie star, so don't try to offend me." Sulu is smart enough not to wade into this muddy water. CFA is not a good person anyway. Why not do it if he can see her and Wen Qiao fighting like dogs? Tong Wei murmured and half bowed, "Don't say that." CFA rolled his eyes at her, "Are you happy playing someone else's role? Do you think someone like you can really rise to the top? Do you want to read what is said on the internet? You will be the first one to make Master Fu lose money. It's a money-losing product. The investment cost is 60 million, and the estimated box office is only 40 million. It was the peak when it debuted, and it can only go downhill from now on." Tong Wei whispered, "All I can do is fulfill my duties as an actor and make a good movie. Other things are beyond my control." CFA sneered, You were not the shameless person who flattered Fu Nanli's little love Wenqiao and relied on such heretical methods to intercept other people's resources. Well, the retribution will be meted out to you right away. If your film hits the streets, it will definitely hit the streets. Do you deserve it? Tongwei picked at her palms. I'm not flattering, I'm just telling the truth. There was a bang. Wenqiao, who had been waiting for Tongwei to come back for a long time and went out to check, heard this loud slap outside the bathroom and immediately opened the door and went in. The moment she saw Wenqiao, Sulu was startled. Her instinctive reaction was that luckily she didn't bully the girl named Tongwei with CFA. CFA was still teaching Tongwei, without flattery. Without flattery, how can you become a heroine in the 18th century? Just wait, once your movie hits the box office, you will become a sinner for the ages, and it is a sure thing that you will hit the streets. Yeah, this is the price you pay for cutting other people's movies. Really, Wenqiao said coldly. CFA, who bullied the weak and feared the strong, was so frightened that he almost lost his breath. She insisted on calling Wenqiao Fu Nanli's little lover, but there were always rumors in the circle that Fu Nanli doted on her very much. Even though she was a little lover, she was definitely a character who could dominate the circle. Wenqiao took out his cell phone and flipped to the hot search hashtag Xiaokong has received 5 nominations hashtag. He reached out to CFA and said, the one you just typed is the nominee for Best Actress in this year's Golden Lion Award. CFA's face suddenly turned pale. Yes, according to the information released at 8 o'clock, Xiaokong was nominated for 5 heavyweight awards including Best Director, Best Actor and Best Actress, becoming a heavyweight film competing for this Golden Lion Award. In addition, Tongwei does not have the resources to intercept you. It was you who committed suicide and offended the investors. You did not agree with the investors' ideas and were abandoned. I don't mind if you slander the reputation of our company's artists in the future. Send a lawyer's letter. CFA was still immersed in the news that Tongwei was nominated for the Golden Lion Award for Best Actress and couldn't recover. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 650. Wenqiao said in a lazy voice, which hand did Miss Xie use to hit our artist? CFA gritted his teeth and said nothing. Wenqiao pointed to her right hand, just think of it as this hand. I won't make it difficult for you. Just use this hand to slap yourself 3 times. You. What's wrong with me? In the corner not far away, Sulu, who had just picked up her phone, suddenly felt a cold wind blowing over her. When she looked up again, Wenqiao was already standing in front of her. Want to take a video? Wenqiao snatched away the video that had been turned on from her camera. Sulu was so frightened that her words were choked in her throat. Wenqiao was too damn predictable. She hid in the corner and just took out her phone to secretly record her bullying CFA, but instead unexpectedly, she found out. I don't have it. She had to quibble whether she had it or not. There was a bathroom stall next to it. Wenqiao pointed a beautiful parabola and threw the phone directly into the toilet. Sulu was so frightened that she didn't dare to say a word. Wenqiao walked up to CFA again and lazily dusted his arm, as if to wipe away the smell on Sulu's body. Sulu gritted her teeth and said in her heart, Wenqiao, you bitch. Ms. CFA was angry and scared, so he could only raise his hand and slap himself. 1. Bang bang. 2 San, very good. I have 2 more words to say to Miss Xie. Tongwei is an artist of our Nanqiao entertainment. I hope Miss Xie will show respect to her when she sees her in the future. If you don't respect her, you don't respect this company, boss. Next time, we'll meet directly in court. After saying that, he grabbed Tongwei's hand and left the bathroom. The breath that was supporting CFA suddenly collapsed. Her legs went weak and she leaned against the sink. Sulu stepped forward and reached out to support her. Are you okay? CFA was so frightened that he broke into a cold sweat, but he still said forcefully, "What are you trying to do? It's not because there is a big boss behind you." Sulu whispered softly, "She has always been so arrogant and domineering, just get used to it." What stuck in CFA's throat the most was that Tong Wei was nominated for the Golden Lion Award for Best Actress for Xia Kong. Even if it doesn't win the award in the end, being shortlisted for the international category of film festival is still a great compliment. If she acted in this film, then it would be her, CFA, who is shortlisted now, and she would be able to gain a firm foothold in the film industry. The hatred for Tong Wei only increased. It was obviously that bitch who flattered Wen Qiao and gave false testimony. The entertainment industry was ruined by this shameless villain. Her face was burning and painful, telling her that the villain she hated had just slapped her 3 times because of his power. She will definitely get angry and trample those villains under her feet. Outside the door, in the corridor, Wen Qiao looked at Tong Wei helplessly. "Don't be afraid if you meet that kind of people in the future, they just pick on the weak. The weaker you are, the more they will bully you, do you hear that?" Tong Wei still had tears in her eyes. "Am I too weak?" Seeing her on the verge of tears, Wen Qiao couldn't bear to say anything. He could only pat her on the shoulder. "No, it's not weakness. You are kind and respectful of your predecessors, but you have to remember that you must be strong when you have to be strong. Some people don't deserve your respect, you know."